guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany, as you know, and this is How to Get to Prison, my story time style interview show where I like to bring on different guests that have been to prison so that they can give us the story time, the rundown on how they got there, just in hopes of you avoiding doing some of these things. Of course, unless you want to go to prison, well, that's on you. Our guest today is a personal close friend of mine, Tika. I can't wait to bring her on so that you can get a load of this story. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring her up. Miss Tika, how are you doing? Thank you for being on the show.
Yes, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, we're just going to jump right into it. So, Miss Tika, what is it that you went to prison for?
Initially for trafficking charge.
It was a trafficking charge. Okay. And you said initially
Hmm.
was there more than one time?
Yes,
Okay. Well, let's get right
it
into it.
wasn't
We
the
need to
same.
know. Go ahead.
It, it was a different charge, but it all tied in together.
It was a different. Okay. Well, we want to hear about it. We want to hear about all of that. I'm trying to get our banner here popped up with the title of our show, but you know what? We just might have to go without it this time. Oh, here we go. There we go. Well, let's just jump right into your story and figure out what exactly happened. So you say the first time it was a trafficking charge. Now, were you? Well, tell us what happened. What was going on? What happened?
Well, I guess you got to be careful who you hang with.
Okay. Yeah.
That's like the main lesson of what that everything that I have to say. The main lesson is you have to be careful who you're with. I had some friends, a really good friend of mine, like a brother to me, um, used to come and visit me. Now, initially, I just moved in, and I stayed in the house. I had three small children, and I usually, stay to myself, just stay in the house. But I had neighbors, ask me why you don't come outside, why you don't let the kids come out. So I started coming outside more, getting to know people, this, that, and the third. Well, I met a guy friend, and he was the coolest person I ever met in my life. Um, he came in, he bought some things for the house. He, helped me with the kids. He bought groceries for the house. He did all kind of things for me. So I consider him a
And
good friend or whatever. But
was this a friend you met in the neighborhood?
mhm,
Okay.
mhm,
Okay. Go ahead.
mhm, mhm. And so one day he gives me money to go and buy some groceries, and I had three kids, like I said. Two of them were older; they were probably about 6, 5, and 6, and the youngest one was about 2 or so. So I took him with me because he was bad. But anyway, um, I get to the store, I'm doing my grocery shopping. I get a phone call from him. And he's like, "Oh, you need to hurry up and get home." So I'm like, "What's going on?" He's like, "You just need to hurry up and get home." So I'm like, "Tell me what's going on." So he's like, "The police are at your house." So I'm like, "Where are my kids?" So he left the kids at the house, and he got out the back door or whatever, and called me. So I left everything at the store. I rush home. I get home, my back door is unlocked. It's like open. So I go in the house. I don't see nobody, no kids, nothing. So I'm like, what's going on? I go on the front porch, and the kids are outside on the front porch with the police. So they asked me, could they search the house? And I'm like, there's nothing in here. Go ahead and search. So they searched the house. They didn't find nothing. They searched the house again. They didn't find. The third time they searched, the dog found a book bag that was hidden in my closet. So he must have hid the book bag and ran out the back door and left my kids there. And now I came home to this.
Just want to interject. So when he called you and said that the police were at your door, initially, why did you think the police were there, or why were they there? Were they looking for you or him?
Well, that's part of the story. Come to find out, there was somebody that worked for the police that informed them that he was at my house because he was wanted, and I didn't know that he was wanted. So that's
Okay.
how. Actually, it was so many different stories. One was that the kids had dialed 911 on the phone. Another story was that the informer had let them know that he was there. There was also another story that was told. I can't remember. But there was different stories. But it all came down to, it was the CNTs, back in the day we had the CNTs, they used to bust everything. So it was the CNTs that had came, and while I was sitting in the handcuffs in my living room, they told me that they knew whose stuff it was. They knew exactly who was at my house, whose stuff it was, and I was going to jail for it. Ha ha ha. That's what they said.
I guess because he wasn't there, it wasn't just a matter of you saying, well, this belongs to so and so. But what about fingerprints? I mean, your fingerprints shouldn't be on the bag. Does any of that matter?
I I obviously it didn't, because I told them that they should fingerprint the bag. Um, but obviously, because it was in my residence, that it was considered mine. Even though they said they knew whose it was and they knew it wasn't mine, but they said that I was going to go to jail for it.
And then what about them searching your house 3 times before they found anything? Was there ever a concern of them, the
Mhm.
police, putting anything in your closet? I mean, why did it take them 3 times to find it?
I don't know. At the time, I was young and I didn't know
Yeah.
what to do.
Yeah.
I had these kids. They were taking me from my kids. I was really in a state of shock. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do.
Wow.
Mm.
And so it was essentially nothing you could do but just take that charge. They weren't asking you for any information or
Hmm.
anything.
No, mm-mm. They took me to the precinct and they had a big old book that they slammed on the table. It said I was gonna do 30 years. Just all they was just really, really, they really did a lot.
Wow.
They really did a lot for them not to know, for them to know that it wasn't mine. They did a lot. Mm.
Were you able to get a lawyer or anything like that?
I couldn't afford to get a lawyer. I got a court appointed lawyer, and I got a first offender, 15 years probation.
Okay. That's not bad. Well,
Yeah,
amongst other things.
right. I did get to come home. I did about 93 days, I think it was, in the county, and I came home, and had 15 years probation. I did 8 of those years without any violations, any trouble. My ex-husband, which was incarcerated at the time that I got in trouble, he came home in 2013. He came home 2013. I had been on probation 9 years, 8 years, but he wanted to go to Walmart. We went to Walmart and I was shopping, doing some grocery shopping, and he was doing his own thing Well, we get to the counter and pay for our things and go to walk out the door, and the police like grabs all of us and takes us into the room. So I'm like, what in the world going on? I'm like pregnant. I don't know how far along I was at the time. Probably about 5 months, 4 or 5 months pregnant. But they take us into the room and they show us him on video stealing in Walmart, and he had like 800. He had over $800 worth of stuff on him, which made it a felony.
Absolutely, it is a felony.
So by me going in the store with him, even though we were not together in the store, and they have it on camera that we were not in the store together, I still was charged with shoplifting with him. That violated my probation and sent me to prison.
Wow. And again, I mean, I don't know if it's different when it's a violation of probation, but do you get to get a lawyer? Were you able to get a lawyer?
Um, well, since it was a felony, well, I mean, I got a court appointed lawyer, but since it was a felony that like revoked, but they didn't revoke it. They did do good by me. They gave me those 8 years time served on probation because the trafficking charge holds a 10-year sentence. So they gave me 8 years time served and just made me do that 1 year for the felony shoplifting. So I did a year, but I was pregnant and the county let me go home for 53 days because I was having issues with my baby. I wasn't getting enough water and all that stuff. I was going through some complications. So they let me go home. So at the end of my sentence, they wanted those 53 days too. So I ended up doing 53. I ended up getting out 53 days later than my sentence. And to make matters even worse, while I was in prison, when we went to the parole board, for your parole time, the time you go home, they had me maxing out. They had me coming home in 2028 was my release date.
You would have been still in there
So
right now.
I still be there. I had to get in touch with my family and have them to get in touch with my lawyer, to have the lawyer to get in touch with the judge to sign off on the paperwork saying I only had a year to serve. So I went through that also. And when I got home, I ended up having to get a lawyer in North Carolina to get my child back.
Wow. And so, what about?
Yeah.
I mean, are you having complications from these things being on your record, even though essentially you didn't even do anything?
Right. It has been a time um I can't really get good jobs that I want, good paying jobs that I want. Um it's even kind of hard to get a house. It does impact everything.
And that friend from the first trafficking charge, have you ever seen him again?
He was killed 2 years later. I mean, 2 weeks later. He was the first murder of 2007, New Year's.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. And then
Yep.
what about baby dad? Once you got into all that trouble behind his $800 worth of felony shoplifting, what did he have to say for himself?
He was actually supposed to sign an affidavit while we were in the county, but he never did. So I ended up having to do that time anyways. But I left him. Let's see. We came home. Matter of fact, I came home November 2016. He came home New Year's 2017. And within that same week of him coming home, he did it again. He went and stole some stuff out of Walmart with us, me and the kids. And that was the last straw. I told him I'm not going nowhere with him no more. And I eventually left him. I left him April of 2018. Right
Wow.
before I had my son, our last child. I left. I couldn't take it no more.
So he don't get enough for being in jail and shoplifting and all of that.
Yeah, that's his whole record is since he been 17 all the way up to his mid 40s, he's been in and out. Hmm.
Wow. And so that is how you got to prison. Well,
Be
thank you
careful
so
who you
much for
fuck with.
sharing your
Excuse my
story.
language.
Absolutely. No, you're fine. You're good. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for coming
Yep.
on and telling your story. That I can't even imagine
No.
going through anything like that and having not done anything. But wow, I'm at a loss for words.
It really impacted my life. One thing about being in prison, it's like it was such a beautiful scenery, you know. And it made me open up a lot more to the Most High. I really
Okay.
think He set me down to make me think about some things. So,
Okay. Well, I'm glad that
uh,
you was able to see a positive side of it and get a better relationship with the Most High. Well, thank you so
thank
much
you
for
for
coming
having
on
me.
and telling your story. Absolutely. Well, that's going to conclude our story time style interview. And we appreciate you, Miss Tika. We are going to get some of your social media so we can put it in the link in the description box. But you have a wonderful evening
Okay,
and stay away from some of them people.
you too, baby. I'm in the house. Yes, ma'am.
That's where we need to both stay. All right, you guys. Now you done heard Tika's story. You better watch who you hang around. Stay away from these wrong people. You don't know what people have going on, what they doing in their personal life, and they can't wait to throw you under the bus for something that they done did. They want to do the crime, but they don't want to do the time. So you got to watch who you hang around. Okay, watch who you hang around. Take heed from Tika's story. Watch who you hang around. Watch who you have in your home, in your space, around your kids. Because you don't want to end up in prison for something somebody else did. Now you stuck behind bars, you can't figure it out. But thank you so much for watching another episode. And until next time, stay out of prison.